PhD, versus he taught at Iona, and then was chief editor for the Rhode Island Publication Society. I'm just saying,
I'm not aware of that
Interesting.
title, except
yeah.
I think I know what it is. That
No, it's just out of curiosity.
it's what's his name? The former PC history professor who became a lawyer and property developer. He had his own series of publications, so that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Patrick Kahn.
Oh, he's here.
He's here.
The bag. Next to
Yes,
the bone of
right.
his wife. Yeah.
I believe that's the Rhode Island Publication Society.
He's such a jerk. I hope this isn't being amplified. Take care. But
You might see it with his former colleagues at the.
I see. Nice. We are assembled with our friends in the darkness that has fallen upon them. We raise our voices together to the source of life, asking for comfort and strength. Who among us has not passed through trials and bereavements? Some bear fresh wounds in their hearts and therefore feel more keenly the kinship of sorrow. Others, whose days of mourning are more remote, still recall the comfort that sympathy brought to their sorrowing hearts. May our sharing of sorrow and our deeds of solace bring comfort to the loved ones of Hilliard Beller. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures that brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Psalm 23. The words are behind me. Adonai ro'i lo echsar bino desha yarbitzeni al mei menuchot yinahaleni navshi yishovev. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 1. Blessed is the man who has grown beyond his greed, and has put an end to his hatred, and no longer nourishes illusions. But he delights in the way things are, and keeps his heart open day and night. He is like a tree planted near flowing rivers, which bears fruit when it is ready. Its leaves will not fall or wither. Everything he does will succeed. A poem by Juanita DeLong. I do not come when I am dead to sit beside a low green mound or bring the first gay daffodils because I love them so. For I shall not be there. You cannot find me there. I will look up at you from the eyes of little children. I will bend to meet you in the swaying boughs of bud-thrilled trees. I will give you strength in your upward tread of everlasting hills. I will cool your tired body in the flow of the limpid river. I will warm your hands through the glow of the winter fire. I will soothe you into forgetfulness and to the drop of the rain on the roof. I will speak to you out of the rhymes of the masters. I will dance with you in the lilt of the violin. I will flood your soul with the radiance of the sunrise and bring you peace in the tender rose and gold of the after sunset. All these have made me happy. They are a part of me. I shall become a part of them. And a poem by an anonymous writer. I do not want a curious crowd to come with lamentations loud when I am dead, nor do I want my words and ways rehearsed by them with tardy praise when life has fled. I only want the faithful few who stood through good and evil too, just those who sought to find the good and then, as only dear ones could, forgave the rest. I'd have them come, these very few, and drop perhaps a tear or two, and then without a sob or moan, go softly out and leave alone my soul to rest. We're not a curious crowd. We've gathered in this intimate circle to speak wistful words of farewell to a man who was both loved and loving. Robert Louis Stevenson was right. So long as we love, we serve, and so long as we are loved by others, we are indispensable. The story is told of the painter Renoir, who suffered from a very severe form of arthritis. At the end, even holding a brush became a supreme effort, and he literally had to be pushed along in a chair from one side of the canvas to the other. One day, his disciple Matisse watched the master go through all this agony and implored him, why continue to paint? Why torture yourself? Renoir paused, allowing his eyes to survey one of his favorite canvases, and murmured slowly, the pain passes. The beauty remains. The pain passes, the beauty remains. In time, the pain of losing a loved one softens and eventually passes. But all that was good and beautiful about the life of Hilliard Beller will remain with his dear ones always. Hilliard was a teacher, which was a significant dimension of his personality. Indeed, a teacher is a creative artist working in the most precious medium, the human complex of mind and heart. To mold, to guide, and yet not to trespass upon the integrity and individuality of the student. Is this not the immeasurably significant and difficult task upon which a teacher is set? And even when he was an editor for decades, Hilliard really continued in his own way to teach. Our friend revered the word, honored the idea, and exalted thought. Our grief this morning is remembered love. We lovingly remember this true gentleman, a thoughtful, highly educated, highly organized, cultured man who was blessed with keen intellect and high energy. Hilliard was distinguished by his keen wit. His humor often resulted in clever wordplay. He savored life's pleasures, classical music, an engrossing book, a delicious Chinese dinner. He was a gifted chess player and even wrote poetry. Our friend loved Susan as if there was but one star in the firmament. We can't imagine the anguish and grief her dad must have experienced when Susan's mother, Lila, died when she was but an infant. Hilliard continued on as a single father with persistence and quiet courage. But we also can't imagine his joy when Susan became a graduate lawyer and his beloved granddaughter, Sam, was born. We reach out to all who mourn, including Sister Ruth, who could not be here because of illness, and we're grateful for Fran's companionship that warmed Hilliard's heart through the years. Friends, when the story of our own lives is rehearsed someday for others to hear, I'm sure we would not want it to be said how ingenious we were, how much wealth we